On tap, Kentucky Ale. Hi, I'm James Knott, and today we are talking about Kentucky Ale from Alltech's Lexington Brewing Company in Lexington, Kentucky. The brewery's parent company, Alltech, is a biotech firm that makes animal nutrition, health, and performance products. One of their specialties is yeast, hence the jump to brewing. The brewery has been selling beer since 2000. There are only 3 beers in its lineup, and Kentucky Ale is its flagship beer. The brewery describes the beer as a blend between Irish Red Ale and English Pale Ale. They give credit for the flavor to the local water, which runs through limestone aquifers underground. It has 5.3% alcohol by volume and is light copper in color. They add a pinch of wheat malt for a smooth, creamy taste. Brian, what are you picking up here in the flavor, the taste? What's it reminding you of?
I can definitely taste the pale ale. It tastes like a pretty average pale ale to me. Not great, not bad. After about halfway through a bottle, I could start to pick up the Irish Red in it towards the end of it.
Did you feel like the flavor it changed over time?
Yeah, it seemed to be after about halfway through the bottle, I could start picking up the hints of the red ale, kind of like a Killian's almost.
Joby, what kind of comparisons would you make to give someone an idea of what this is?
Well, in your opening, you said it's a cross between an Irish Red and the English Pale. So a couple beers that I've had is the English Pale is the Bass, and the Irish Red would be, the Sam Adams Irish Red. To me, I enjoy it more because to me it tastes more like the Irish Red. I can get the caramel taste, like Brian was saying, at the end of the taste. So to me, this is a pretty good beer.
Scott, what would you want to eat with this?
Honestly, it's pretty simple beer. I mean, I can see myself having this even at a ball game, but hamburgers, hot dogs, anything. I mean, it's just...
Is there anything off-putting about it?
Maybe the smell at first, when you have it, depending on how you pour it, because it's really hard to pour with. You have to pour really aggressively to get it to have any more than 2 or 3 fingers of a head. And when you really do pour aggressively and splash it at the bottom of the glass, then it gets really off-putting. It's almost an odor that would be of a spoiled beer.
Did the odor change over time, or?
Yeah, it did. It kind of the odor really ended up being more, I guess I'd say, kind of toasty caramel. But yeah, no, definitely a decent beer. Okay.
Brian, would you say that you were surprised at all by this beer?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought the mix of the blends of the different ales really added to it. It wasn't great, but there was nothing off-putting for me.
Okay, what was your rating?
I gave it a 7. I would definitely drink this one again.
Joby, what's your rating?
Right there with Brian. I'm going to rate this a 7, James. This beer to me has high drinkability. There's no strong aftertaste, or there's nothing that comes out and hits you and just says, "Hey, I'm a beer," whatever. But it's just a smooth beer that a normal beer drinker that isn't used to a hoppy beer or whatever could drink. This would be a good beer for them to pick up off the shelves and try something new. So I would give it a 7.
The brewery says they add wheat for a smooth, creamy taste. With smooth, creamy taste, would you say that applies to this?
I could say that, yeah, because it is very smooth and there's no aftertaste, like we said, and it's got that little hint of caramel at the end. Kind of like a Irish Red or maybe even a Killian's, but it's pretty smooth, and for the amber or red beer drinkers out there, I think they'd really enjoy this.
Scott, how's the mouthfeel on this beer?
Yeah, it's pretty smooth. I mean, it's a good mouthfeel. It's not, I guess, the fullest mouthfeel out there, but it's definitely not BMC mouthfeel either.
How's the carbonation?
It actually has some decent carbonation, but it's definitely not overly carbonated by any means. But it's not offensive whatsoever. I think it's a great beer that someone could take if they're looking, like Joby mentioned, just to piggyback off of what he said. If you're going to a barbecue or something, this would be a great beer to pick up if you really you can't decide what you're going to drink and you don't want a BMC beer, you want to pick something else up and just try. This is a great one that you could drink with your friends all night long.
Okay, what would you rate it?
I'd give it a 6.
All right. Kentucky Ale runs 6.7 laps at the Derby. Tune into our next episode, Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale, which is Kentucky ale aged in used bourbon barrels. Drink responsibly, save the planet, be a nice person. I'm James Knott, and this is your Better Beer Authority.
Better Beer Authority.